All right, let's wait for it to get to a good color before I do this intro. What's it gonna be? Are we gonna get some blue? We gonna get some blue? I mean, kind of blue, but I want real blue, baby. I want real blue, and then I'll start the video. Oh, hey guys, how's it going? It's Robert here. I'm in bed still. I'm pretty much not sick now, which is epic. But you know what? Those last two videos where I was in bed watching videos while I was sick, it was so much fun. And you guys said you enjoyed it too, so I'm like, let's just hang out in bed again? Oh, I'm the only one in bed, but you guys are in... I don't know a way of saying this that doesn't sound bad. Okay, I don't know why it keeps picking the ugliest colors from my backdrop. I think I'm gonna have to change my backdrop because this looks terrible. Last time it was this ugly red, now it's this ugly yellow. We still got my battery percentage, stocks. You may notice not as high as it was last video. 702-day streak in Duolingo. It is not a thing. Okay, relax. Okay, I do this every day. It's nothing. We're gonna look at Jaiden Animations today. So, I wanted to watch Jaiden Animations' most popular video of the last several months. I was almost in Squid Game! Squid Game!
They put the Squid Game Dolly Poppy playtime!
Despite the horrible memes about Squid Game, man, that show was good. Apparently, Jaiden was almost in it, and we're gonna check it out today. And I'm gonna try not to shout as much. Again, I looked at my waveforms again.
Holy peekety peek, Batman.
Oh yeah, I got a new headset. Did I say that? This headset is like newer, and I looked at the mic comparison online, and it was way better. But yeah, let's check this out. I was almost in Squid Game, Jaiden Animations' biggest video of the year.
When I say I was almost in Squid Game, I specifically mean Netflix's reality show version, not like the actual one where people died. Sorry for a bit of a bait there, but also I'm not lying. So before I get into that whole story, I need to explain how I was even put in that situation to begin with. Early last year, Jacob, our friend Joe, my brother Jax, and I all went to this little Squid Game pop-up event hosted by Netflix. It looked interesting, to say the least. A combination of curiosity and boredom are what convinced us to buy tickets. Our Uber took us to the location provided, and we were dropped off at a scary back alley in the streets of LA.
Wait a minute, is that part of the experience? Is that because that's how Squid Game people get recruited in the show? They were like, hey, we'll make this super accurate to the show. We'll meet you in a dark alley and put a bag over your head. Also, muffin! Thank you, Jaiden, for drawing a cute rat, unlike most people who draw rats.
Back alley in the streets of LA. Are you sure this isn't a setup for, you know,
real Squid Games?
The real thing?
Yeah.
We hunted down the entrance, headed up Squid Game themed stairs, and inside was a big lobby with merch, snacks, decorations. You know what else was in there? No other human beings. We were the only ones there, along with the shape guys that were just staring at us.
What?
Are you sure this isn't? I don't know anymore. Staff signed us in and gave us numbered wristbands.
It's the real
thing. It's like Squid Game. Eventually,
it's
more
like the real Squid Game
showed up, and soon enough, we were herded into the starting room, decorated very much like
Squid Game.
No one actually cared about this thing. And if they did, corporate ruined it. The staff guy gave us the rundown on how the event was gonna work, all the rules, such and such. But sprinkled throughout the explanation were like a lot of safety hazard jokes. I know the concept of the whole thing is rooted in playing dangerous games and dying and evil dystopian. But he was saying things like, don't lean on the walls. You might rip through it, and I don't want to fill out any paperwork if you hurt me. Don't touch it.
Guys, I want to make sure this is fully safe. Remember, this is not real. Just to remind you how not real this is, yeah, the walls, they're made of plywood and cardboard. It was painted last week by a guy named Jeff. Just so you know, this is not real. I will fill out a form if you get hurt. Thank you, Square Man Bob, for breaking the immersion and letting us know it's not real.
Might rip through it, and I don't want to fill out any paperwork if you hurt yourself. Don't touch anything that you shouldn't touch. I don't want to have to fill out paperwork again.
I know about the paperwork.
Very anti-paperwork, like way more than the actual human safety part. Based on what we've seen so far, our group knew we were about to experience exactly what we were hoping for.
Oh boy.
But with not the death part. For the first game, we were led into a room with lines of glass squares. What? It's like Squid Game again!
It's a Squid Game!
The glass jumping part! When it was your turn, the pattern on the 10 squares
These are plastic,
and you needed to
not
memorize
real.
which tiles to step on. It's like, well, I guess it's kind of like Squid Game. kinda.
Yeah.
The first batch of people stepped up, the patterns all flashed, but before anyone could begin stepping on glass, they were instructed to hold it and only take one step at a time. For the whole game, we had to watch everyone take one individual step, stop, wait to be confirmed, then take one more step. For 10 spaces, in like 6 groups total. Also, I think that whatever mechanism they used to track if people were out or not was super busted because literally only like 5 people in total got their pattern right.
This sounds brutal. Okay, but let's talk about that Squid Game real quick. Squid Game glass bridge. Everybody who saw this glass bridge one in the show, everyone fantasized about, okay, but what if I just ran really fast across this so it wouldn't even have time to break? What if I, you know, tried to like go along the support beam here? Would that be fine? I feel like this is like the most fantasized about Squid Game thing because everyone's like, okay, how would I do? Could I just run? At least that's how my brain worked with this. I don't know. Let me know if I'm right or wrong.
It was super busted because literally only like 5 people in total got their pattern right. Joe, Jacob, and Jax all swore they memorized their pattern correctly, but were eliminated anyway. I know I botched mine up though. I've got paper shredder brain. They could give me one tile to memorize and I would still know. 25 of the 30 people failed their very first puzzle. Now, Netflix knew that if people paid $40, yeah, 40, to be in this Squid Game event and then had to go home after the first game, they would be pretty upset. So the rule was for the first 4 challenges, no one would be eliminated. Yay, woohoo, phew, that was a close one. In the next room, they tried to combine both the honeycomb game and the marbles game from the show, but what was put together was throw marbles in the shape on the table to win other people's marbles. It was very anticlimactic. Unfortunately, we were only able to gather in groups of 3, so Joe wasn't able to join us.
See ya, Joe.
Instead, he was paired up as a third wheel to a random couple that was obviously here on a date. Jax cleaned up shop on us. He got
Squid Game date. Okay, is that a good date idea? I just hope no one went to the real Squid Game and thought it was going to be a date, because your date's going to be sorely disappointed when they're dead. You know?
Jax cleaned up shop on us. He got all our marbles within minutes. But over at Joe's table,
have you lost your marbles?
Injustice was afoot. Apparently, the 2 people that were in a romantic relationship ganged up on Joe, and after taking all his marbles, just split them up between each other. Despite there being no actual stakes in the game, Joe was furious simply out of principle and swore to get revenge on them somewhere, somehow. Before he could even start any beef, we were brought into the next room, and again, we're split into groups, this time of 4. They really liked group activities in this thing. Walking through the doors to the challenge, everyone was stationed around a respective gift coffin. After opening them up, it was revealed we were going to be playing a human version of Operation, the game where you try to pick up fake little organs with fake medical tools without touching the sides. So, simulated surgery. Like, I guess that was kinda in Squid Game. At least they decorated the boxes like
it wasn't a game, though.
I mean, we're really pushing it at this point. Jacob and I randomly got paired up with this married couple, and the 4 of us started inspecting the tools when suddenly the woman goes, "Oh, will you pass me the forceps?" She's a surgeon. Oh my god, we just happened to be paired up with a lady whose literal job was operation.
That's
the challenge
hilarious.
began and the 3 of us took our hands off the tools. She cracked her knuckles and we watched as all the plastic organs—
I've been training my entire life for this. This has been my goal since I was a child. My entire life has prepared me for this moment. It's like if I was in a game and it was like, okay, guys, we're gonna make you do this really hard game. Start talking about a random interest and never stop for 6 hours straight. There would be people who would be like, oh my gosh, what do we do? And I'll be like, hey, I got this one. I've been training my whole life to do this. Never stop talking sounds like my dream come true.
And we watched as all the plastic organs were suddenly out of the prop body.
Nice.
Not surprisingly, our team was the first to finish.
Good
When we
job.
got back together with Joe and Jax, we explained how we got super lucky to be paired up with an actual surgeon that literally soloed the whole thing. And Joe was like, wait, that guy was a surgeon? And Jacob and I had to shake our heads and say, No, Joe.
Women
was a
can
surgeon.
do surgery too, dingus.
Now that we were entering the fourth challenge, it was time to get serious. This was the first game where people would start getting eliminated for realsies. But not realsies. Everyone was split into two groups and taken to one side of a wall where there was a bunch of prop boats. It was a kind of not really IRL version of Battleship where we had to try and shoot down all the other side's boats.
What's
and the
that all
team that
about?
won would progress into the fifth game. I would describe this idea as
crazy.
Good enough. Sure. You know, we didn't get to choose where to put our boats since they were bolted to the floor, but I guess we did only pay $40 to be here. For some reason, though, the staff member on our side was...
$40 ain't bad.
Extremely helpful.
Honestly, 40 is Jaiden saying we only paid $40 at the beginning? It was like $40.
I guess we did only pay $40 to be here.
Yeah, earlier, Jaiden, you were like $40.
I want my $40.
But now you're like, oh, I guess it was only $40. Dude, I'd pay $100 to do a fake Squid Game. Though I guess if the walls are made of cardboard and what did Jeff say? Yeah. What did Square Jeff say? I guess if they are constantly breaking the immersion. Guys, this is fake. I don't want to do paperwork about your cardboard and your plastic. Then fine. Maybe it is only worth $40.
I want my $40.
But I don't know. I just think this is a pretty cool experience. I'm gonna keep it real. It's a good way to spend your Thursday. You know what I'm saying?
For some reason, though, the staff member on our side was... we can call it extremely helpful. At first, he was saying general tips, like, so if they still have a 4-tile boat,
are they a
let's
Jaiden
check all the
Animations
areas
viewer?
that could fit that. You know, saying vague hints to help us out a bit. But by the end of it, he was just straight up telling us, if I were you guys, I would shoot right here.
What the heck?
This guy wanted us to win.
He must
and
know
win
you.
Fast.
He's
so
a viewer.
Either he had some kind of bet going on with the other staff members, or dude just had places to be. All the other teams' boats were sunk, and the remaining 15 or so people were led into the semi-final game. It was obvious as soon as we saw her, we were finally playing the classic red light, green light. It was decorated like the show, the doll was there, but there were giant gift boxes scattered around the room to act as obstacles, because when you think about it, red light, green light isn't high stakes when staff can't actually shoot the contestants.
Hey, you could fall. Hey, you're running really fast. Someone could trip and fall. You take that back. Very serious consequences. You could skid your knee, okay? By the way, homies, it's that point in the video where I say to you, hey, leave a comment and tell me what you think of this video. This is a new thing, as we've discussed, you know, watching videos on the lappy from bed, a little more comfy, cozy. I want you to let me know, do you dig this vibe? Should I do more videos like this one? Leave a comment and let me know, because I do read those comments and it does affect, like, what videos I do. And regardless of if you prefer this style or the other style, I would appreciate it if you could quickly take a second to hit the like button on this video. It just helps me out. You know what it is. It's YouTube, you know? A like a day keeps the sad Robert away, is what they say, I think. And yeah, if you're watching this video and for whatever reason you're not subscribed to the channel, that would be cool too. Just look at the table. No, I'd appreciate that, obviously. You know, that would be cool. And yeah, we can keep doing fun vids. Okay, let's continue.
Because when you think about it, red light, green light isn't high stakes when staff can't actually shoot the contestants.
Okay, fine.
Like, something had to be added to spice it up a bit. We gathered on the starting line, and the game started. As we were playing, I was thinking, how are they measuring if we're moving or not? You know, I doubt they recreated the entire motion tracking doll thing just for this pop-up that's getting torn down after a month. I figured the only thing they could be using to track motion is our wristband, so in between the green lights, I focused extra hard on making sure my wrist stayed as still as possible. In fact, I was focusing so hard on my wrist that I didn't even realize I was the first one to pass the finish line. Unfortunately, similarly to the janky glass memory game, it seemed like a lot of the wristbands were super wonky as well, because a lot of people got pinged as eliminated.
Only paid $40, Jaiden. It was only $40.
I want my $40.
Okay? What, you need a perfect wristband too? Come on, there's only $40.
People got pinged as eliminated, no matter how still they were, including Jacob and Jax, which was a huge buzzkill. Either that, or they were just built to be super sensitive, and somehow my weak little carpal tunnel wrists decided to not shake for the first time in 5 years. I turned back to see just 3 people left. One of them being Joe. They all lunged forward, and as red light was called for the final time, I watched as Joe tripped and crashed into them, causing every person left to topple to the floor. Their wristbands deemed them eliminated. As Joe was walking past me to the dead area, I asked what happened, to which he said, I got him. Joe had intentionally sacrificed himself to bump those people.
Joe, are you serious?
They were the couple that ganged up on him during marbles. He had finally gotten his revenge. Was it petty? Yes. Did he probably ruin their date?
Yes!
But do I also not care and think that was the funniest ever? Absolutely. Joe was awesome.
What a Joe the Savage, huh? I can't believe this. I can't. Listen, if it was anyone other than that couple who sabotaged him before, I'd be like, Joe, that is unnecessary cruelty. Live and let live, bro. You know, I would actually have a big issue with that. But, nah, Joe, it's okay. That's kind of funny. I mean, still, I probably still wouldn't have done it because, bro, you don't have to stoop to their level, okay? Maybe they would go that low as to do that to you, but you don't have to go as low as to do that to them, okay? But Joe don't play by our rules of society, so I guess it's different. Whatever.
Joe is awesome. I was somehow the only one in our group moving on to the final round. Me and the other 4 winners of red light, green light were brought into Squid Game.
Squid Game?
Everyone else was there too, watching from behind a little rope. Jaiden, Squid Game is so rough and tough. How did you fare against the 4 other dudes
the
that
4
made
forces
it to the
of
end?
evil.
In real Squid Game, the guy got stabbed. Did you get stabbed? You're probably wondering. And oh, dear viewer, no, I did not get stabbed. In fact, I didn't get hurt at all because Netflix didn't want to deal with paperwork. Instead, we played hold a fake egg on a spoon and attack each other until there's 1 egg standing, but attack in a way where there's no paperwork, which is fine with me because I doubt any of us actually knew how to play Squid Game anyway. The buzzer rang and everyone started shifting around in the shape. Since I, for some reason, have experience in high-stakes game tournaments, I deployed my signature strategy of don't bring attention to myself. I simply dodged and weaved between the guys swiping at each other's eggs. I can take someone on in a 1v1, but any number higher, and I've gone well past my capabilities. Eventually, there were just 3 people left. The crowd started yelling, "Get the girl! The girl's still in!" And the 2 guys started walking towards me. But then my personal peanut gallery chimed in with, Hey, they're ganging up on the—
Hey, we'll meet up. We'll meet you in the alley afterwards if you do that. If you come after our friend, we are meeting you in that alley that we thought we were gonna get recruited into the real Squid Game in at the beginning of the video. We'll turn this into real Squid Game. If you want to team up on our friend, we can turn this into the real Squid Game real quick, okay? Only we're the pink guys, okay? So you better watch yourself. I'd say something like that, you know? I wouldn't actually like threaten real violence. I'm just playing. But I would impose my imposition. Okay, by the way, one thing I wanted to say, if you're an animal lover like me, you may be concerned, if you don't know this information already, if you see them using eggs trivially, and eggs are definitely gonna break, and it's like, what the heck? Just in case you don't know, the eggs that we buy in stores are not fertilized chicken eggs. They wouldn't ever become a baby chicken. They're just eggs that come out of a chicken every now and then. It's just their natural body cycle is to release eggs, and so those eggs are gonna be worthless unless we eat them, or use them for Squid Game, I guess. So anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know. I'm not encouraging anyone to waste eggs, but wasting eggs is not the same as wasting actual chicken.
Then my personal peanut gallery chimed in with, Hey, they're ganging up on the girl! Boo, shame, boo. And that flustered them enough to back away.
Yeah,
apparently,
back
the
off!
power of teamwork and fear of misogyny can persevere through anything.
Yup.
Suddenly,
Tell them you'll post about it on Twitter.
It was just me and non-woman hating guy number 2. The exact 1v1 I was trying to create. We circled each other, both our spoon-holding arms stretched out as far as they could go. He swung at my egg a couple times and I managed to dodge.
Nice
but
try.
I couldn't win this thing if I didn't go on the offense.
You need to incorporate your legs.
I won the
Wow,
silly
good
little
job.
Netflix Squid Game pop-up. The front man came out and escorted me to the VIP area where he gave me a plastic animal mask, like in Squid Game. And we took
Good
awesome
job.
photos together, and I got an awesome t-shirt that
Good
said
job.
winner. And I didn't know it at the time, but as this was happening, the staff pretended to shoot all the losers with fake gun sounds. Unfortunately, I didn't get the 45.6 billion money prize like in the show. But along with the t-shirt, they did give me a special form to fill out that would give me priority application for Netflix's actual Squid Game reality show. Squid Game, The Challenge, Season 2. I looked at the form and thought, you know, we'll just see what happens. Filled it out and was able to bring my friends back to the VIP room with me because winning isn't fun unless you do it with your friends. That's what Squid Game taught me. There were a bunch of snacks and alcoholic beverages in the winner area, and I gotta say, the squid drinks were probably the worst things I've ever tasted. It was astonishing how bad they were.
Because it has squid ink in it, duh. You should have known this. You should have known this. It's had squid ink in it. Why would you drink? Listen, I understand not everyone is an expert on squids like me, but I am an expert on squids like me, so.
The worst things I've ever tasted. It was astonishing how bad they were. Over a year later, and I can still imagine it. I don't even know what ingredient could do that to a drink. Anyway,
squid
after I submitted
ink.
my form, I half expected to never hear anything about it ever again. But to my surprise, Netflix reached out to interview me about potentially being a contestant on the show. In fact, I was forwarded to the next round of interviews 3 times to completely break any potential rules of confidentiality. I was starting to think there might be a chance I could actually be on the show. But eventually, the interviews came to a stop, and I have come to the conclusion they have moved on to better qualifying people. Most likely because I will admit I was a bit too honest.
Okay, Jaiden, you have 14 million YouTube subscribers. Like, you would bring so much attention to the show. There was a time when, I don't know if you guys know Ego Raptor from Game Grumps, there was a time when he was on a very low budget, very silly reality show that is smaller and lower budget than this. It literally doubled the viewership of that show. It was called The Tester, a game show, a reality show about if you win, you can be a video game tester for PlayStation. The best job ever. Ego Raptor was on that, and I watched the show because of it. And the episodes that had him in it literally had like double the views. I think this was before Game Grumps, actually. So yeah, this was a long time ago. This was back in the day. But yeah, having a popular content creator in your show is obviously going to give it way more attention. However, some content creators, not Jaiden, but some content creators are super toxic and they would say something negative about it after the fact, even if they didn't have a negative experience. That's something that just so many content creators seem to think is an okay thing to do in life. But that's a risk for brands and for companies like this. They don't want to risk having a content creator who would then like rip the show apart afterwards. But I don't think Jaiden would do that, you know? Jaiden's cool.
I will admit I was a bit too honest during the interviews. They basically all just looked like this. What kind of a role do you think you would play in Squid Game as a contestant? I'd probably just be a follower. I don't like taking charge at all. How hard would you fight to win Squid Game? Not that hard.
What?
Have you watched the first season of Squid Game?
We need
The Challenge?
warriors.
No. Well, I watched the first 20 minutes, but I turned it off because I thought it was really badly paced and boring. So that was that. And I'm okay with it. Or who knows? Maybe they saw my very strange track record of winning game tournaments and got scared.
Yeah, true. Yeah, very strange track record of winning game tournaments. That is very true, Jaiden. I didn't even think about that. Jaiden enters game things and wins them. And that is just how her life has been going. I think Jaiden is honestly a brilliant, super smart human being, and either she doesn't realize it or she is just way too humble to admit it. I think Jaiden's just really good at things, hence why she has 14 million subscribers. She's very good at making storytime animation. But yeah, no, Jaiden's track record of just winning everything that she enters is pretty funny, honestly. And I think the only way to follow up this video is to watch this Jaiden Animations video right here. If you haven't seen this video, this is one of my favorite Jaiden Animations videos ever. Go check it out, okay? Or here's the whole playlist of times she looked at Jaiden videos. I'll see you in this video or just any of the other ones. Here's Jaiden's channel. What are you gonna click on? Click on it. Okay, bye. I love you.